Shut up and sit down.
Good afternoon. We're back on the That's What He Said today. Relatively simple project, but kind of a fun one. We are going to put a subwoofer on a boat. May sound a little silly. I had an extra subwoofer available from a previous project. I converted my wife's Jeep subwoofer from an all-in side-mounted unit to one that kind of blends in better with the Jeep itself. There's a video on that too if you want to watch that install. But this is going to be how to put a subwoofer on a boat. A little bit different. The things we do in this will be slightly different for your boat. There are some things that remain the same. 12 volts, the color of wires, they are different than cars, so pay attention to that. The install location will be different. We're putting this actually in the head in the bathroom, which is right by the front unit. You'll see how it works out. It's kind of nice. So you'll probably have a different install location if your boat doesn't have a head. I'm not using a full marine grade subwoofer. I'm using the one that was in the Jeep. I just had extra. They do make full marine grade subwoofer for boats. All-in-one units, because boats have limited space, so definitely use an all-in-one unit, self-contained, or a loaded and powered amplifier and subwoofer, as it's called in some places. So definitely take advantage of that process. So we'll walk through this, how to get this subwoofer installed, what to do with it. We'll have a little fun along the way. So let's talk install locations. A couple choices you have available. On this boat, on many boats, there was a place to put a cooler. Mine didn't come with a cooler, it's missing. But you see there's a speaker in there already. I've seen some boats put subwoofers there. Actually not a bad idea. Put you outside. You can do it below this area right here. Get under your seat. There's access to that as well. Well, I'm going to try first, because it's pretty easy to do. And I got the head here. I got a nice big head. Lots of space. Now if I do it against this wall here, I've already unscrewed it. I can get to the cables I need to. I'm actually going to either mount it like right here or onto this right here. The radio used to be in here. You see the hole where the radio used to be. I took the radio out, relocated the radio up here. So you can see the beautiful radio. I got a full video of how that install went. So I can feed the cables through that hole right there. So I might just mount it on this piece of wood right here and let that be the subwoofer. So I got lots of ideas, but I'll start running the cables first and see how we feel. A couple things you're going to need. The subwoofer. This is just the one I had handy. You'll need the remote wire, REM wire. Optional will be the bass control. Not a bad idea to mount that somewhere near your unit. Maybe you want to turn down the bass for whatever reason. You'll need the audio sending. It's good to have some protective material. We got some 4-gauge ground cable here, and we've got our power cable here too. So we'll go through setting these up and how to get. So first we'll prep these two cables because they're the most important. You're going to want to fuse wherever you install your subwoofer, right to the battery. This is a perfect cable. It's a 30 amp fuse on this, so you can build these things out. That's all that this subwoofer will pull is 30 amps. So this gauge of wire is fine. Often you'll see subwoofers use very high gauge wire, something like this. If you're doing like a 100 amp fuse or 200 amp subwoofer, it's only 30 amp, not a big one. How do you know amps? Waves law. Wattage equals amps times voltage. You know it's going to be 12 volts, right? How many watts? So take the watts, divide by 12, that's your amperage. So if you have a 1200 watt subwoofer, it's 100 amps. Pretty easy to figure out, right? So if you got a 50 watt, 50 divided by 12, 4 something. So it's easy to figure out. If you have a 500 watt amplifier, 12 times 50 is going to give you 600. 12 times 30, 360. So 30 amps good for, this is only a 250 watt subwoofer, so not a ton of push. 30 is totally fine. So you only need something this crazy if you're doing like multi-thousand watt subwoofers. So all you're going to do now is you're going to prep it for the battery terminal. I'm going to put the little eye hole on this and use your paladin to clip it down. Warming up the old heat gun here. I'm going to put the shrink wrap on. Getting hot now. See it shrinking? Alright, so we got this on good. That's supposed to connect the battery. There's our fuse housing. Now we're going to put this to this. We're going to use one of these barrel clamps and we're going to connect it with the paladin tool. We're going to clamp it down and then we're going to use the shrink wrap again to make it a nice secure fit. Shrink wrap's preferable to electrical tape. It's a little bit stronger, better connection. It looks much cleaner. All right, we got a nice connection here. Looks very sharp and clean. Same here. Good connection. Should hold nice and tight. Now we're going to prep the ground. Here. It's yellow. Boats use yellow for ground, red for 12 volt power. Yellow for ground. It's not like a car where it's black. Boats use yellow. So we're going to prep this to be used in the boat. So we got the end trimmed out. We're going to put this on here, clamp it down, and then run the shrink wrap on it. You see how when you use the right tools and do the right thing, it comes out very sharp looking. Very nice look to it. I got more than enough here. I got 13 feet. I'm not going to use it all, but I know I'll cut where I'm going to use it at the ground. But I just have extra. It's good to have on the boat, just have extra ground material on the boat too. 4 gauge, so I can handle really whatever is thrown at me as far as ground needs. So we got the power cable set. We went inside and used the heat gun for that. Now we're going to do the signal cables. So I came back to the boat. I'd rather work out here. Fresh air. It's a nice place. I don't need the heat gun out here to do this. So here's what we're going to do. I've got this protective material. I'm going to run the control, the REM cable, the level cable, and the audio cable through it. So that way when it's coming out of the hole in the head right here, it's all in one piece. It looks real nice. I don't have to worry too much about getting the cables tied up. So I'll work through getting those through that right now. All right, we've got it through the protective sleeve. It looks really nice. I'm gonna feed this through the hole in there. All right, we're under the helm. We've got our 3 wires through here. If you're curious, here's the old radio connection. Just kind of living up here now. So what we need off the old radio is a couple things. A couple little pieces of important pieces. We're going to need the REM cable and we're going to need the audio feed. So I'll reach up here and fish these out. There's the antenna. But you guys don't need to watch me fish them out, but that's what I'm after right now. To hook the REM cable right here and the audio feed right here too. So depending on your boat, you likely have a 12 volt bar and a ground bus bar under your helm. So that's my new ground cable running there. Now I have a choice to make. I can run the subwoofer power to this if I choose to, and I may just do that. It's only pulling 30 amps. The risk of that is this runs back to 100 amp fuse, so if all in it pulls too much, the 2 things this runs to may lose power. That does not affect your motor at all, nor your ability to steer or anything else. These are just the luxury controls that are coming here, so it's not the worst idea. If for whatever reason your ignition went through here, I would totally recommend against it. But only one of these runs through your ignition. Your motor will continue to run. Okay. All right. So I got the cables coming out of here. I'm going to leave enough in here. I'm going to have the subwoofer come out and take the door out as I need to. I'm probably going to attach it to the door or this thing right here. So I'm going to leave as much of this in. You'll see my blue ends right here. So I'm going to make this my length. So all I'm going to do is my other ones, I'm just going to, inside of here, I'm going to wrap them up. So this all lines up to this. So this lines up to that. This lines up with that. This lines up with that. This lines up with that. So I know that's my actual length that I want this all stuff to be, in case I need to remove the panel more, which, you know, as I work in the boat I may need to. Worst case, I can just take these cables off of the subwoofer, and then so this can go to the wall to about here or so. So then right about here, see where I've made this far, I'm going to wrap these up nicely so that they can stay. So I'll pull this to the limit with blue. We'll have a nice continuous looking piece when we're done. Alright, this is the easiest part of the whole thing, hooking the cables up. Obviously white. Alright, that's going to go there. We're going to run red to 12 volt, rem in the middle, ground to here. This actually plugs in the other side. We're going to hold off on that for right now. But for running the 12 volt, pretty easy. Use an Allen wrench. Let's see if we got the right one here. Oh, too big. Just right. So we're going to twist that on nice and clean. Push you right there. And screw this down tight. Alright, so we got these wrenched down. This is going to be optional if you want to use the remote for the level. I'll probably end up using it, but before I do that, I want to test it. So I'm going to turn on the boat power, turn on the radio, see what kind of sound we get out of this. Blue light means good power. Red means overload, purple means standby. You hear it? Shaking this. We got some good bass now. Right? Now tuck it away and mount it up. So all we did was we mounted it to the bulkhead of the head here. We'll put that right back in place. The sub will sit there. It'll be relatively protected from the elements in there, and it'll provide base for the boat. That's the whole install. You got a subwoofer on your boat now. How easy was that? Stay safe in the waters. Like and subscribe for more videos.